Okay, so today we're going to be looking at, I think it's JEC or Junior European Cup or Champs or whatever. So I think it was in Switzerland this year. And yeah, let's just look at the course. It's a pretty nice map and lots of contours. I think there are 5 meter contours. Yeah, so lots to climb and you have to take it into account. But at least most of it is downhill. So yeah, it's not too bad. Okay, so from the beginning to number one, we have I'd say a relatively simple route choice. I'd just go straight. The only sketchy part is a little bit is the part at the beginning here. So there's no features here to lead you along the way. But basically, if you take a bearing from here and just contour along the thick index contour, you're going to get to this flatter area. So this is all flat with this little hill and then the reentrant, depression right there. So you just continue straight, look for this rock, look for this, and then probably run right through or past the depression. Then around this cliff, I would find it and follow it, look for this rock at the end, and then from here you can just take a bearing because it's a very short distance and you'll see the curvature in the cliffs. So that's how I would do number one. There's not too many other options. It's a fairly simple leg. Number two, though, I would probably try reading number two, and if not, number two is effectively the long leg, so I would at least stop to read it if I haven't planned it out. So it's a tricky leg because you really have to read the contours and the elevation change. So if we look here, it's hard to tell which contour, if it's below or under or above where you start. So this form line goes off the map, and it's this one and this one. So it's hard to tell. I'd probably go by linearity. So how many features are very linear? If we go to the right, or more in terms of the paths. So if we go to the right, we have to do a big turn here and basically lose elevation, or at least cut here and then cut here until you're here and then come like that. So so really from the right, yeah. So from the right, I would go straight here along this indistinct trail, probably climb another 3 contours here, or you could even run around. The distance seems a bit longer around, but it probably pays off. So come here, run around, um, cut straight, hit this trail, and then come in from the left. Or you can climb here, whatever, however many contours that is, follow this paved trail all the way around, and then keep going down, and then come back here and climb up this again. So this, I find this one really hard because there's so much going on with the contours. It's very tough to figure out, and any trail you take, there's going to be up and down. So I'd probably I'd probably take the right option, and maybe right here I'd cut it to I'd cut the corner to save on distance, and then yeah, hopefully the light green isn't too bad. If the light green is really bad, then I would probably take the left option. And what I might even do, yeah, no, I just take the left option here. Um, yeah, all the way around here, here, and then up in from the left. But it's hard to tell. Actually, I think the left option is a lot faster, or better. So if you take the left option, you're going to run along a road the whole time, and you'll have time to plan out the rest of the course. So even if it is a little bit slower, it's a tough call. I'd probably go right. That would be my instinct. If you're a fast runner, left might pay off. We'll see how other people did it. Oh, it sucks that I find that leg hard, so we'll see what the right answer is. So I'll just say I would have picked right because I like going straight through the forest, but I think faster runners it might be a little bit faster going left. Number three, go straight along the path, slow down here, find this cliff, and then take a bearing straight to this cliff. Um, yeah, you'll have to really read the curvature of the contours right here in order to figure out where exactly you are or heading as you're coming down the slope. So number four is a little bit weird, but it's pretty easy. This is a very obvious feature, so I'd run maybe even parallel with this ditch and then down into this white forest and flat. Here you can go really fast. Look for this this block and then or the ruin or whatever this square is. So take a bearing here, take a bearing to the next one, and then from here take a bearing to the rock, and you should be able to hit that. Coming horizontally here, you can either just contour, or probably what I would try doing is taking a more direct route, and then so taking a straight bearing and finding like going through this. This is going to slow you down, all of these ditches. But basically head to the end of this rock wall and then contour into, wait, it's not the rock. Contour, climb a little bit and head around the green here into the cliff. And really have a good bearing because it's going to be a tough one to hit correctly. Number 6 here, this one looks like pretty good. So it's on the exact same elevation. So what I might do is, but you have this cliff here. So I would probably climb a little bit and then hit this trail and then come down into it. I think that's the best option. The other one would be dropping a bit and then climbing up this trail and then coming directly onto it. But here you'll get the trail for longer and you'll know exactly where you are, and it's an easier attack into the controls. So I'd probably go left here. Number 7. Number 7 looks interesting. So probably trail, and then you need to find one of these two rocks. So probably look for this trail here, and then after that look for the next rock. Cut up on a bearing, hit this rock, hit this feature here, this little reentrant, and then take a run straight into the control. So it's a little bit swervy. You could even go more straight. So if you could find this rock, you could just come in. But yeah, probably that's a better option. But it's decently technical here, so you don't want to take too many risks. So this one's a bit downhill, so you could just lose your elevation here by coming straight down. This looks like a cliff, but it's a passable one, so it shouldn't be an issue. So you just cut down through here, and then I just run on a bearing across all of this. You can try reading the two trails, maybe the two rocks. Here there's a cup depression, which is hard to see. I don't know if you'd noticed that, but I'd aim for the cup depression because that's it's not repeating in this area, so that's a pretty good feature to peg exactly where you are off of. And then also you'll see these two cliffs. You can come in right between them, or what might be better is probably to just come under and run underneath them and count them off as you're coming. Even if you lose track, you can keep running underneath them, and then you can hit this trail here and then come straight into the control. So you're going to look for this cliff, but it might be on the rock. So you'll come around the cliff to the top of where the rock is. Number 9 now. Number 9 looks weird. It's pretty detailed. Okay, so I would come to the right, run along the right side of this cup depression, and keep a bearing, and then try coming off like this kind of flattish part and the spur in the white, and not get into this green technical stuff. So just kind of right on a bearing, coming all the way down here, and then looking for these two knolls and keeping them on your left, and then coming by the boulder patch and the What is this? This is a cliff. Boulder patch and cliff, and then also, yeah, or you could just aim for this junction. That's a lot faster. So just really try and notice some of this stuff, but once you hit this, find the junction, continue down the junction. I think you can run through this yellow. So I don't know. It has the thick line, so I don't know if it's impassable, but usually it might not. It might be impassable, so you can still stay in the white. And then you come right through here, right by this knoll and the cliff, um, and this little whatever gully, and then just come all the way straight into the control with bearing, basically. So it's going to be very sketchy. So from this knoll, you need to have a perfect bearing. It needs to be a very good bearing. Um, yeah, and you don't want to mess it because that would be really bad. So it might be good to aim a little bit higher and then look down as you're running along the hill. Okay, number 10 again is in a weird position. It is located at the same elevation, basically. So I would come straight as possible to it. So come by this trench and then by through these boulders and the boulder field here to the right side of this cliff and then continue straight here and aim for this little hill, pass by this little hill, and then follow straight here over the top of this hill and then down. If the green is bad, I just continue on here and then take the trail into it because the trail should be really fast. But I think the forest could be okay. So if it's about the same as the white or the trail, you could just come straight down here. And then the last control is going to be so you can't come down this cliff. So just taking a bearing straight here through the forest somehow to get to this trail, maybe aiming for these cliffs, going very straight, then following the trail, and then you're done the course. Okay, so that's it for my analysis. And now we can look at what did the runners actually do. So, um, yeah, let's try 10. Let's start here. And let's watch how they do it. So here we've got one person taking the trail a lot lower, but most people are going very straight. And yeah, I'm just gonna pull that back a bit. So yeah, they're coming straight through the reentrant and then by the triangle and then hitting the control. And now we're gonna see leg 2, which is gonna be very interesting. So we've got a number of people spreading left and then a number of people going right. So we have only Svensk taking the trail option and then some of these guys taking and then this guy. Some of the guys coming over this hill and then right. And then, oh wow, so Svensk went all the way down. That looked like a very good option. But then he loses time coming up at the end. Okay, so I'm going to just mass start that at the end, and then we're going to look at the other side too, because it looks like a really tricky leg. So the people coming left, all sort of, so they're heading straight for this big road, and then there's also some of them that came over here, um, into the clearing. So I didn't really read that option, but it's a bit less climb. And if we look here, then the people who, oh yes, and then there's another option. Yeah, there's so many micro route choices here that you could have taken. So some of the people that went down, they took this left trail up and through this clearing by the building here. And that looked like a very good option if you continued onto the road. So, oh, let's see. So the orange, yeah, so it looks like basically mass or the orange and the pink runner, the orange and the pink runners get to the trail at exactly the same time. So it doesn't matter if you come under this cliff or up the trail. The trail would probably be a little bit better. It's simpler, but there's more climb. So then here, if we notice, pink and the red runners turn right, and then the orange one continues on. And he beat basically everyone on the road, but not, well, let's see. So he beat, one of them looks like a faster runner, and then the rest of them he might have beaten by almost, I'd say half a minute. So he gained about 30 seconds taking that route choice. Now, the other people, these two guys who stayed in the forest, they lost a lot of time to the guys who kept going straight. So, yeah, that looks like a good option. I'm going to replay it and just show us the whole leg, all of the runners as they come from 1 to 2. So it looks like going over the hill here was a little bit faster than going around the left side of the path, but it wouldn't have been a bad option. Okay, now these guys are going really fast up to here, and then these guys hit the trail. And now if we just zoom in, they all make it at basically the same time. So here we can see that everybody makes it at basically the same time. So again, with this route choice, it wouldn't have mattered too much which one you would have picked. So the only notable route choices I would say there are on this one is if you were taking the left option, you would like to take note of this path and get onto it. So you could either come through the forest like this with having no extra climb, but a bit rougher terrain, or you could come down to this trail and then take it up here and get connected on here. Otherwise, you'd have to come side hill here and then hit this trail and come into the control like this. That would be the next best option. What I would say, so if we look here, so Jesper Svenx's option here, coming all the way around on the right side, is not a bad option too, but I think it's a little bit slower because here we can see he is maybe 10 or 5 or 10 seconds behind the other guys who came left. And they all split off the path at basically the same time. So yeah, so he was a little bit behind, but yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna just keep playing it from here. I'm gonna slow it down because they're all running really fast. So to number 3, everybody goes basically straight. Yep, no surprises there. To number 4, they come down like I predicted into the reentrant, and then some of them find this block. This guy takes the trail a bit, but then he's a bit right or to the left, and then yeah, they all come basically straight to number 5. Let's just see. So to number 5, everybody's going basically straight. Yeah, they just come straight on a compass bearing. It's a pretty short leg, so it's not too much of an issue, I think, to run it. Now here there's the route choice again. There's the upper and the lower route choice. I'm going to just mass start everyone here. so that we can see which one's faster. So most people are going up on our left side of the cliff, so they're taking the trail. And here we have about 2 people taking the right route choice, and they lose a decent amount of time. So I'd say at least 30 seconds. So taking the left route choice was definitely a better option. To number 7, everybody goes basically straight. So here there's about 3 or 4 people, maybe 5, actually taking note of this reentrant, but a lot of them took directly straight lines to the control. Then, yeah, everybody comes under the cliffs here. Some people are going just at the edges of them, but it looks like the lower route choice is nicer. Some people came higher up. I think the lower route choice was fastest. Here everybody goes basically straight, like I predicted. They're not taking this junction, at least these 2 guys aren't. This person's too low, in my opinion. Yeah, so here this person followed the trail. Jesper Sphinx followed the trail. Another few people took the trail. So I would definitely say finding this junction, it's just a lot nicer because you get a trail and it's simpler and you know exactly where you are. So here, yeah, there was some like a mistake and but basically just coming straight into it, that would be the hard part. I'm gonna just mass start again. Everybody's kind of splitting off. So here we can see it's pretty interesting that well, not really. Everybody goes straight. Some people they're going like over the cliffs, which I would not advise. But it seems to be working out here. I don't know if there was a gap there, but he got through. Um, but most of the people went left here. So that looks like it was definitely the faster option. And then everybody just takes a basically straight route choice. They need to get to the trail. So going straight as possible looks like it was the fastest. So that was that. It was a very interesting. I like the long leg on that one. That was a very difficult leg, but there were some good route choices in there. Nothing too technical, but you had to keep in mind to read all of the contours continuously as you're navigating, because telling whether a control is higher or lower could sometimes make a big difference, whether you want to go right or left or which route choice you want to take. Okay, see you in the next video, I guess.